2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at second. The pitch. A swing and a miss for a Redbird winner. Pais dropped the ball, picked it up, tags out Sheets, lighted up in downtown St. Louis. The Cardinals win Game 1 of the 4-game series, beating San Diego 9-7.
Good win tonight for the Cardinals. A very good offensive performance. They scored 9 runs on 12 hits. They knock off the Padres by a 9-7 score, and this is certainly a game that, coming off a tough week and a tough road trip, they needed it if they want to make this thing interesting before all is said and done leading into the trade deadline. Having some success in this series against the Padres, that is an absolute must, and they look good today. It's much more fun to talk about this version of the Cardinals than what we saw over the last week or so after what Oliver Marmol referred to as the worst performance of the year yesterday. They bounce back with a 9-7 win, and they do it in comeback fashion. San Diego puts up a 2 spot in the top of the first inning, and it's that here we go again moment, and the Cardinals answer one of those runs in the bottom of the first, which is huge. Always believe in answering runs, even if you don't get all of them back. When you're scored upon in that fashion, go get at least 1 run back, start things going in the other direction. They did that, and then they put up a 6 spot in the second inning, and they eventually do get a win by a 9-7 score. This is the Extra Innings Show right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. We are being presented by Graybar. Graybar is your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. If you want to get in contact with us, there's multiple ways for you to do so. You can call or text 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. That's how you call. That's how you text. If you want to tweet at me, you find me on Twitter at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. Or for those of you who are watching us on the video stream, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. You can go ahead and just leave a comment in the chat, and that will come to us. I've noticed here recently, I think maybe I'm wrong on this, I think we're getting a few more people watching us on YouTube, and you can watch us wherever you want to watch us. But I would probably encourage you to watch on YouTube, because the chat there becomes its own thing, where you're listening to me talk about the Cardinals, you're saying things to me, but you're saying things to everybody else as well. So it's just one big Cardinals conversation. So if you want to find that on YouTube, just find KMOX Sports. It's a good thing to just follow, like, do all that stuff when it comes to the KMOX Sports YouTube page, because then when any time KMOX Sports goes live, Extra Innings Show, Redbird Rush Hour, Sports Open Line, Gas House Gang, Sports on a Sunday Morning, I don't think I'm missing anything there. Whenever any of those shows go, you get the notification, and you can follow along with us here at KMOX. So I would encourage you to do that. But no matter how you're watching us, listening to us, viewing us, taking us in, whatever it is, we are glad that you are with us tonight. Already getting a bunch of messages to come in via the text line. Again, call or text 314-436-7900. Tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air. I love this one from the 256. Says, wouldn't it be funny if the Cardinals swept San Diego and spoiled the front office's plans to be sellers? I have said I'm kind of rooting for chaos on this whole thing, because they put themselves in a position with the last week to look like a team that was en route to not really contending for a playoff spot. And if they have a really, really good next week leading into, we're 1 week out from the trade deadline now. It's next Thursday, I think 5:00 Central Time next Thursday is when the trade deadline takes place. The Cardinals will not play a game that day. Here at KMOX, we will have updates, and we'll be on top of the trade deadline stuff all day long, so you'll be able to take advantage of that. But if they ever, again, I think if they take 3 out of 4 from San Diego, which is a big ask, that's a good San Diego team, and if they take 2 out of 3 from the Marlins, at that point, things get a little bit interesting, and the decision-making process at the deadline could look a little bit interesting. Jeremy on the chat mentions that there was a trade tonight. Yeah, the I guess you could say the deadline activity has started. We'll start to see trades start to trickle in here. The Mariners, they acquired Josh Naylor in a trade with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and honestly, what they gave up for him wasn't that much. So hopefully price tags go, I guess if the Cardinals are sellers, hopefully price tags go up over the next week. If the Cardinals are buyers, hopefully price tags stay right where they're at. I thought Sonny Gray was really interesting when he talked. I hope you were tuned into the network post-game show there. He said he's working on some things, and he's not afraid to take stuff that he's working on into games to see whether or not it can work or not inside of a game. And some pitchers don't want to do that. Just don't. And Gray feels like he's going to be better for it in a couple, 2-3 weeks. We'll wait and see. Pitchers are always working on things. Isn't it nice, though? Isn't it nice to have a starting pitcher not have his best day and still get a win and the team still get a win because offensively the team scored a bunch of runs? Nobody's going to tell you that Sonny Gray was especially good. He wasn't. He gave up 7 runs, 6 earned in 5 innings of work. But offensively, the Cardinals scored a bunch of runs for him. And that's what you need. That over 162 games, you have to find ways to win games when your pitching isn't on. And there are a couple moments in this game. When I was doing the post-game show highlight segment, I identified a couple moments in this game which I thought were just huge for the Cardinals winning. First off was the 4th inning. Sonny Gray did not give up a run in the 4th inning. Padres had 2 on 2 hits there in the 4th. And this was in the 3rd, they scored 3 runs. So they had kind of a little bit of momentum, if you believe in that in baseball. And Gray got out of the inning. It wasn't, pretty, 2 hits given up. But Gray got out of the inning in what was a 2-run game at that point, 7-5. So that is a key moment in this game. And then also a key moment in this game is when JoJo Romero comes in to pitch in the 6th, where you got 2 runners on and Romero comes in, strikes out Jackson Merrill, and then gets Xander Bogaerts to ground out. And again, the Padres strand 2. And at that point, it's a 1-run game. So those are kind of the 2 moments in this game that I identify as being the really, really big moments from pitching. Sometimes when you have days when you give up a bunch of runs, it's not so much about the overall numbers. It's about the moments. You have all these moments during a game, and who's going to win the moment? And the team that wins the most moments, I keep using the word moment over and over. I need to find another word. The team that wins the most of those ends up winning the game. And I think that's what we saw from the Cardinals today. Nobody's going to tell you that giving up 7 runs on 13 hits is a good day for pitching. It's not. But there are points in this game when they needed to put up a 0, and they did. They did it on those 2 occasions that I mentioned. And I think that is the key to them coming away with this win today. Let's grab some of the comments that are coming in from Carlos. Tonight, the Cardinals play great. Get down early, but find a way to get back in the game to hold off a team that they're trying to run down in the wild card. Yep, absolutely. From Terry says, nice win, like the offense. Hope Sonny rebounds soon. He has to. I don't know what's going to happen with this team. This team right now does not feel like a playoff team. But the numbers are what the numbers are. They are very much in a playoff race right now. They are within 2.5 games of a playoff spot. Yeah, they got a bunch of teams that are in front of them that they got to jump over, and that plays into this as well. But they're 2.5 games out of a playoff spot. That is very much in playoff contention. So they may not feel like a playoff team right now, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're buried and they're out of it because of 1 week, not 1 week of bad baseball. The baseball extended beyond this past week, but I think this past week really gave most people a sour taste in their mouth. Dan sends in a message, says, no matter how the series goes, the Cardinals should sell, right? I think they should still sell. I don't know. I don't know how I'll feel. Again, if they win both series here, if they go 3 out of 4 against the Padres and 2 out of 3 against the Marlins, I don't know how I'm going to feel in that moment. I don't think they should do nothing. That's the thing that most worries me. I don't want them to do nothing. I want them to get better somehow, some way. And whether that's getting better for 2025 or getting better from 2026, don't do nothing. That's all I would say. If there is not belief from this organization that this, even if my scenario plays out, they go 3 of 4 and 2 of 3 against the Padres and Marlins, if there's not a belief from the organization that this team has a legitimate chance of being a playoff club last year, if that's what this year, and that's what they believe, well, then follow through on that belief and sell. If there's a belief that this team is a player or two away from really being able to legitimately run down these teams in the wild card, then go try to add incrementally without hurting yourselves too much in what you have to give up. I don't like the buy or sell conversation. I feel like it's always something that presents itself in a pretty obvious manner. If it doesn't present itself in that obvious manner, then we can have that conversation. Aaron wants nothing to do with anything but selling, saying sell, sell, sell. I'm not waiting 10 years for this team to become a World Series team. Aaron, I would caution you, if they sell, it's not like they're bringing back these big time impact players. Ryan Helsley is probably, outside of them trading away somebody that we don't expect them to trade, outside of them trading away a Brendan Donovan or a Mason Wynn, which is something I'm sure the organization is not jumping to do. Of the players that are on the list of guys who kind of make sense that you would trade, even for Ryan Helsley's the guy who probably has the most value. He's probably bringing back a prospect from a ranking standpoint, maybe a top 100 level prospect, maybe a little bit outside the top 100. You can make your team better. I'm not trying to poo-poo what you're going to get back, but the Cardinals are not going to turn themselves into a World Series contender with what they do at this deadline. They can simply make the organization a little bit better moving forward. Text messages that are coming in. Teresa says, "Oh, sweet baseball. Did we need that?" I like that. "Oh, sweet baseball." Maybe I should start using that. Now that was a fun game. Way to go. Another text message says from the 573 writes, "Nice bounce back win for the Cardinals. Even when your so-called ace had another stinker, but a win is a win, and now just 2.5 games back." Yeah, a win is a win. Sonny did not look good today. Again, I think listening to what he said, that he knows he's got some things to work on, and he's working on some of that inside of games, and he's going to be better in a couple weeks before because of it. Okay, that's tough in the moment. You're a team that's kind of fighting for your season, and the guy who you want to most rely on to have success from a starting pitching standpoint is struggling a bit. I understand where that would frustrate fans. And this is where sometimes pitchers just do have to work through things, and you got to go along for the ride with them. Good message from Steve, who sends in no top 100 prospects were traded last year. I assume that's right, because top 100 prospects rarely get traded unless it is a big time deal. I think there is this belief when it comes to the trade deadline that you are going to be able to bring in just the huge returns, and it just doesn't really work that way more often than not. So I'd love to see if it's obvious that the team is not going to be really in contention this year, go sell players off, go make the team better, go make the organization better. My simple point is this is not going to be difference making huge. All of a sudden you go from not being a contender to a contender next year, 2 years from now because of think about the individuals that came over in the trade deadline 2 years ago when they sold. Thomas JC is a really nice player, and I think he's going to be a really good big leaguer. And I like Sajaci a lot. I still have no clue what his role is going to be on this team moving forward. Don't know what position he's going to play. Don't know where he's going to slot in. Don't know anything about that. But I do know he's a good ball player, really good ball player. And but again, I feel like I'm like being dismissive of an individual. I'm not trying to be. Thomas Sajaci, as much as I really, 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 really like him, you don't take Thomas Sajaci away from a team like the Cardinals and they're just terrible, and you put them on there and they're just awesome. He's a really nice piece. Those are probably the type of pieces that we're talking about. 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. That's how you call. That's how you text. You can tweet at me as well, at Matt Pauley on air. The Extra Innings Show is being presented by Gray Bar. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. We're back with more in just a moment here on KMOX.
Hey, facility managers. At Graybar, we're not just one of the largest distributors of electrical and datacom parts in North America. We're your connection to help make your buildings smarter. We work with best-in-class manufacturers to supply products for wireless, security, renewable energy, lighting, and critical power solutions. And we have a network of integrators nationwide that can help make it work all together. So, the next time you're thinking about making your building smarter, think Graybar, and we'll help you get connected. Visit graybar.com/connected buildings to learn more.
There's a big red barn where you say green. Norm's Bargain Barn. On discount windows, doors, and things. Norm's Bargain Barn.
Hi, I'm Norm Wilkie. Come see my new selection of Amish cabinetry made by my good Amish friends at Countrywood Products. We now stock 5 styles of cabinetry for you to choose from.
When you need to save on discount windows, doors, and cabinetry, come to Norm's Bargain Barn. With locations in Shiloh and Fenton at the bottom of Gravois Bluffs. Visit normsbargainbarn.com.
That's normsbargainbarn.com.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we are more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. From startups to established businesses to estate plans, we are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. With offices in Missouri and Illinois, you can conveniently visit us today at sandbergphoenix.com. That's sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
You might know Graybar for cable and connectivity, but there's one more thing you should know us for that can help optimize your project's total value, like our comprehensive electronic solutions for security, AV, wireless, and networking, or our specialized job site services, like material staging and kitting, or maybe our logistics specialists who can help you identify efficiencies and ensure just-in-time delivery. So consider what one more thing you may need to optimize your bottom line and get to know us for that. Yep, Graybar does that.
Now, back to the Verizon Extra Innings Show.
We are back at it after the Cardinals come up with a win against the Padres, winning by a 9-7 score. Welcome back in to the program. My name is Matt Pauley. Appreciate you being with us. If you want to call or text, you can do so. 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. You can tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. Or you can... what's the last one? Oh yeah, leave the chat in the video. I say the same thing over and over and over. I shouldn't forget it, but there you go. All right, Scooter sends in a message, says they have 14 players, I believe, in that 2023 sell-off. Besides Roby, who's always hurt, and Sajaci, a possible decent big leaguer, the return of that sellout was awful. Mo should be nowhere near the table when talking returns on possible trades. Tell me that I'm wrong. I do think that Chaim Bloom's voice here at the deadline should be a larger voice than John Mozeliak. Because at this point, if they are selling and bringing players back, they're players that are going to play during the Chaim Bloom era, not during the John Mozeliak era. So it just makes sense. And we can be critical of Mo about things going on with this team. Mo could have an incredible track record and be 100% on his game and not making a single move that's a mistake, or he could be, everything turns to stone that he touches. Either one of those, I'd be saying the exact same thing, because the Chaim Bloom era is underway in terms of if you're doing anything for 2026, that's Chaim. So that's where this is not a shot at John Mozeliak. we could do that. Like, I don't like the way the Fetty situation was handled. I don't like a lot of ways things were handled, but this has nothing to do with Mo. I also would argue that what they got back a couple years ago, I actually don't think it was awful. I think that's the trade deadline. Are there years where guys are acquired in trade deadlines that break through in a big way? Yeah. And, Roby could be that guy in addition to JC. Sim Robertson came over at that deadline. Maybe he's still going to be something. I just think for the most part, it's a lot more lottery tickets than anything that's guaranteed at the deadline for most teams in most situations. Carol has given us a call. Hey, Carol, you're on the Extra Innings Show.
Yeah, my question is about Jordan Walker. I didn't read the original article, but I believe it was Jeff Gordon who suggested that the Cardinals might actually consider trading Jordan Walker given his unsatisfactory non-fulfillment of his progress. And I wondered what you thought of that. And I also wondered, sort of parenthetically, if maybe this week and last week, Jordan Walker has been trying to convince everybody not to trade him. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. So Jordan Walker, I don't think it's completely off the table that he gets traded. I don't think it's likely to happen here at this deadline. This is one of those things where you have to be blown away on an offer, because you don't want to sell low on Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker is still a really young player. He's 23 years old, and the tools that he has just jump off of him. He hasn't put it all together at the big league level. I understand that. So unless a team just blows you away with an offer for Walker, I'm not that interested in trading him. But I don't think anybody on this team is untradeable. And if they end up trading him for that type of offer, then cool. But he doesn't go and help he doesn't help a contending team right now. That's why that doesn't strike me as a deadline deal trade, especially if you're in sell mode, because nobody's going to go acquire Jordan Walker to help their team this year. That's a longer term acquisition, and those are the ones that are made in the offseason. So and by the way, Walker looks fantastic right now here since he's been back. He's hitting .333 with an .860 OPS. I don't know if it was, I don't know if it's going to stick. We've seen this before from him. He'll put it all together, and then it just kind of falls apart again. But at some point in time, it might not. At some point in time, it might not all fall apart for him. He might just put it together and it all work. And maybe this is the start of that. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Aaron sends a message and says, Ronald Acuna Jr. was young when he went off. So was Juan Soto. Walker was supposed to be the next Albert, is what Mo said. Like, Aaron, I get the point you're making, but I can come back with more players who it takes a while for them to develop and get going. It's not every player is the same. There are some young players who just are ready at a younger age, and some guys take longer. The fact that the body type that Walker has would indicate that it is going to take a little bit longer for him than it would take for other guys. But comparing Walker to other players and saying that, he should be further along because other players are able to put it all together at a younger age, I reject that. I reject that wholeheartedly. Everybody's different, and there are tons of guys who take longer to develop at a later age. So that's what I would say on that. What's on Deck is presented by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The sign you have, the very best, chesterfieldfence.com. Cardinals, Padres, game 2 of this 4-game series. Another big one coming up tomorrow. The Cardinals are going to have Miles Michaelis on the mound. Right-handers 5-7, 5.20 ERA. Big opportunity coming up for Michaelis, as if you can have success with him tomorrow, that sets you up for the last 2 games being Matthew Liberatore and Michael McGreevy. 6:15 again, 6:15 tomorrow, a little bit earlier, 6:15 first pitch. We're on the air with the Redbird Rush Hour at 5 o'clock. We'll talk to you then right here on KMOX.